Welcome to the PREP video tutorial on navigating the school system. We will learn about the basic setup of schools, who is in charge within the school system, and the best way to communicate with teachers in schools. We'll also discuss how to identify different types of issues your child might be facing at school and who to talk to address those issues. This video tutorial is provided by PREP, the Parental Readiness and Empowerment Program, an initiative of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights under law. The purpose of PREP is to improve student performance, reduce the achievement gap, and provide access to equal educational opportunities. We work to help parents become more involved with their child's education. We provide webinars and video tutorials, parent advocacy guides, workshops, and educational consultation clinics. We also work to ensure that parents have the tools to advocate for their children so that they have access to a quality education and greater educational opportunity. We offer helpful information, not legal advice. We try to be accurate, but rules can change and may vary by state and district. In this video tutorial, Section 1 will provide an overview of the school system at the federal, state, and local level. Section 2 will teach you how to best get your message across when your child has an issue at school using different communication techniques. Section 3 breaks down different types of issues you or your child might have at school and shows you who you should talk to for each type of problem. So let's get started. Decisions made at the federal, state, and local level directly affect what happens at your child's school and what your child is learning. Let's look at the 3 levels of government that affect your child's educational experience. First, there is the federal government. Second, there is your state's government. And finally, there is your local government. The federal government is the highest level of government that affects your child's education. The legislative branch of government makes the laws. At the federal level, Congress is an elected group of people that are in charge of making the education laws. For example, Congress passed the No Child Left Behind Act and the Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act, or IDEA, both of which are federal education laws. The President carries out those laws and appoints a Secretary of Education. The Secretary of Education is in charge of overseeing the U.S. Department of Education. The Department of Education, or DOE, helps to create school regulations, enforces state compliance of federal laws, and provides federal funding to schools. If schools want to continue to receive federal funding, they must follow all federal laws and standards. Under the U.S. Department of Education are regional branches. They help to make sure federal regulations are followed by schools accepting federal funds in different regions of the country. The second level of government that affects your child's education is your state's government. Much like the federal government, your state also has a state legislative branch that makes education laws or education codes that cover how education, state assessments, and student and teacher conduct should be run. The state is also responsible for allocating funding for education. The executive branch in your state is run by your state's governor. The state governor is in charge of executing the laws that the state legislature makes. The state governor also oversees the State Department of Education and the person in charge of the State Department of Education, often known as the Chief State School Officer or the State Superintendent. In some states, this individual is elected, and in other states, the officer is appointed. The State Department of Education makes regulations and distributes funding to local school districts, as well as sets state curriculum standards. The third level of government that affects your child's education is your local school district. At the top is the school board. The members can be appointed or elected. It governs and makes the policies for the school district. The school board can also be in charge of hiring the superintendent. The superintendent implements the school board's policy. Below the superintendent are district leaders such as associate superintendents and principals. The principal is in charge of the school. Below the principal is the vice principal. The vice principal supports the principal and often acts as the school's operations manager. Many times, especially in high schools, vice principals also handle disciplinary matters. There are also other administrators below the vice principal, which might be different at different schools. For example, some schools might have math coaches, reading coaches, school deans, or deans of instruction. Below the school administrators are the teachers and the school support staff. An example of support staff might include your school's librarian, the school nurse, cafeteria monitors, or school security guards. Within this entire huge system, you will most often interact with your child's teachers. Those are the people who your children spend the most time with and know the most about your child. Congratulations, you finished section 1. Now you know more about the different levels of the school system and how it works. To continue learning, view the next prep video on effective communication.